For those of you watching, we're going to start at 7:05 p.m. All right, for those that would like to do the pledge of allegiance, why don't we go ahead and do that? All right.
Allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening and welcome to a special meeting of the Silverton Board of Trustees. It is May 15th, 2023, and the time is 7:04 p.m. And I call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Trustee Krieger.
Here.
Trustee Harper. Here. Trustee Birama.
Here.
Trustee George.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Barney.
Here.
Mayor Furman.
Here.
All seated board members in attendance tonight.
Thank you very much. So this evening is a special meeting specifically for the purpose of appointing a trustee to fill our vacant position. And tonight we'll open with public comment. Then we will have a trustee discussion about the candidates. And hopefully a motion will be made and seconded, and we will have an appointment this evening to fill the vacancy left by Trustee Davis, who resigned on March 29th. So we'll start out first with public comment. if anyone in person would like to make a public comment, you're welcome to, and then we'll go to Zoom. And if you're on Zoom, please click the raise hand button and we will queue you up to speak. All right, seeing no public comment, we'll go ahead and close the public comment period and move on to our trustee discussion, which I'm happy to kick off by just saying the last meeting, reflecting on the last meeting, it was super, it was really wonderful to kind of listen to the tenor of the meeting and hear the four candidates who I think are all pretty different, but have all stepped up to apply for this position. It feels like at least a slight shift in our civil discourse based on like how everybody was talking about how they would contribute and just the positive nature of the whole meeting. And that was really cool to feel and see. And I'd like to thank everybody that submitted their letter of interest and is participating, and everybody else in the community who's kind of led us to this point as well. And I'm actually not going to talk about specific candidates. I just wanted to kick it off with that by saying thank you to everybody. And I'm excited for this discussion. I think all four candidates are really great.
Sure. Okay. Thanks. My sentiments exactly. We went from being a board several years ago that I don't think we knew what our roles were and where our seats were on the bus to now we're a team. We are a fine oiled machine, and losing Trustee Davis was difficult, but four individuals in our community saw what we were doing and stepped up and were capable of this task. Every candidate brought something new, refreshing, and different to the table. And each one of them would be a good fit. The most difficult decision that we have to make as a team is finding that individual who best fits what we have strived so hard to build over the past 3 years as a cohesive unit. I have notes, I have my thoughts, and I really do look forward to hearing from everyone and seeing what everyone has to say. Because I know this is going to be a difficult decision because the abilities of each individual and their unique talents will work and will mesh really well with this board. So I look forward to kicking this thing off. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I think everyone's going to echo the same sentiments of, it's nice having that many people step up and give us a difficult decision to make. But for me, I kind of narrowed it down to Liv and Lindsay. I think they would just be really good fits. I think either of them would do a great job, and I feel like they're both very aligned with kind of our goals as a board and the direction we're going for the next year.
I think again, same common theme, same channel. The fact that when Tyler, Jeff and I ran, it was uncontested. Nobody really wanted to join the party. And then the fact that when we have an open position for very different candidates, we're very interested. And I just thought, here we have someone very new to our community and young who's saying, I want to get behind this. I'd love to be involved and contribute. Someone who's also young, but more involved in our community saying, this is a safe space. I'd like to be a part of this. Someone who's been a longtime member of our community. and saying, hey, it seems like you guys are getting a lot done here that I'd like to be a part of. That to me was really positive. And then another longtime member saying, hey, how can I help? What can I do? I have time and energy and I'd love to contribute. And that to me was just such a sign of what I love about this community. I've been doing a lot of walking around and listening, going on walks, asking people what they think. And I think a common theme that I heard was you kind of can't go wrong. Again, what we've heard is that there are people here that all have ways of contributing to our community, have energy and passion for this town, and want to serve in this way. And I think that was a neat refrain. And so even for folks that weren't paying attention at all at what was going on at town hall and said, I didn't know there was an open position, when I described the candidates to them, again, many people said, you really have a lot of great options there. I'm with Tyler. I think I heard a lot. For those who were paying attention, I think Liv and Lindsay really, Jordan, sorry. Liv and Lindsay really shown, and I heard a lot of support for those two young women, and what they could bring to the community. I think something interesting that came to light for me was talking to quite a wide variety of community members. There was one individual in particular who had pretty broad support from a group, like groups that I would not typically associate in town with each other. Told me very clearly who they preferred. And I think this individual has demonstrated commitment in a variety of community efforts, cultural efforts, and has really shown her willingness to roll up her sleeves, to participate, and to be very thoughtful. And the common refrain I heard from folks from very different spectrums in this community was that a level of respect for this candidate, and a level of thoughtfulness that she would bring, even as she brings her own passions. She would approach things analytically and thoughtfully. And that common person was Liv. And so I think that really stood out to me, was the very different groups of people who were really vouching for her ability to contribute. But again, I don't think we could go wrong. We have some great options.
I'll piggyback on what everyone's been saying here. First, I just think everyone should know that my background is not fake. It's really where I am. And it's so beautiful. So I think what Dana was saying earlier about kind of like what everyone brings to the table being like a really nice, sounds like a really nice board mix. And I wanted to make a plug for the election in a year, because we do have a lot of seats that will be open. And sort of leading off in some introductory comments here, I wanted to just pitch to everyone who stepped up this time that this is just a year appointment. And I would just be so happy to see this group of people step up for the election, because it does, as much as we've made the progress that Jim is talking about, I think, showing some diversity and being a board, I think it doesn't always mean that we are on the same page, or that I think like what we're doing right now is that we're trying to represent diversity with a team that works really well together. And it sounds like the people who stepped up this time kind of get that. And I think that's what makes contributing to the community in this way so meaningful, is that mixing and kind of just really enjoying the diversity. So yeah, overall, I totally agree with everyone's comments that this group of candidates is really outstanding. And also that this is a difficult position for us to be in, because normally an election takes care of those tough choices and we don't really have to be in that hot seat. So yeah. So, and I would echo as well, Jordan and Dana's comments. I think the feedback that I've received from community members via email and phone calls is mostly, I've heard a lot of support for the two women, for Liv and Lindsay as well. And I also kind of want to reiterate that it doesn't feel so much like a personal choice for me, so much as it is a way that our choices can reflect that sentiment in the community. How can we best appoint someone who is most in line with the community's goals?
Thank you, Sally.
Yeah, I don't think I can say anything that hasn't really already been said. Again, really fortunate to have the choices we have, but also it's going to be, it's tougher to choose from. I don't think that there was, one clear outstanding choice. I think that we had some really good candidates. I think the thing that I've been thinking of is this, like what has already been said is in lieu of an election, we need to, I think, put forward who the community, I don't know, I feel like the community has been asking for, and I've gotten a ton of feedback as well. And it's most of the support has gone for Lindsay, and the things I've heard about her from people I respect. And the people in the community I know and have been longtime residents. It's anecdotal, I understand, but that's who I've been receiving the most, feedback for. But again, I don't think we can go wrong with any of the candidates that we have. And I'm excited for this board. I think we'll make the right decision. I think we've been doing pretty good so far the last few months making decisions. So I'm also flexible. So.
Compelling. Yeah. Sometimes a really good decision is, or a decision among really good options is even harder than a decision among trickier options. I also, I think everybody's great. I'd like to see ways for, if Gary and Dave, yes, I'm sorry, I'm Dave Singer, are total brain fart. If Gary and Dave are not appointed this evening, I'd love to find ways for you guys to both be involved in ongoing ways. I think, there's a lot of context and thoughtfulness that both of you guys bring, that'd be really nice to harness on behalf of the town, even more so than is already, being done. Among Liv and Lindsay, it's really tough. I think you both think about things very thoughtfully, and I think you both come from very different angles on, what your backgrounds are. But, a lot of alignment as well in terms of what you want for the community. And I would like to have both of you on the board. So if we can figure out how to do that. But yeah, I think both are very well connected also to a portion of the community. I think is great to have representation on the board.
No, I agree with you. And I think that is one of the most compelling aspects of this this special election selection is that the four candidates are truly represent four distinct areas of our community, while all the while having all the commonalities of one another, of everyone in this community. That's been the most fun, is to go out there and walk around and have people come into the building and go outside, and everyone is saying the same thing. That this group is a special group because of the knowledge that they bring to the table, because of the community and aspects of the community that they represent, the passions and the intellect that come along with them. We're blessed. We're blessed to have these four candidates and to be able to choose from this batch. And unfortunately, we have to only choose one. We can't select all four and expand this board. But echoing what Dana had said, and the overwhelming sentiment that I received was overwhelming. Not just her passion and her intellect, but the ability to, when the tough decision needs to be made. To be able to look at it from a standpoint of a non-biased viewpoint and make those tough decisions that may not necessarily she agrees with. But what is law? And that's what we've had to do time and time again over the past 3 years of this group. And I agreed with them. I did. I shouldn't even say it was close. It was overwhelming. Every aspect, every demographic, they all said the same thing. Young, passionate, intelligent, truly cares about this community, and will be an asset to our community for years to come. That's what I was told. And I thought it was a wonderful sentiment from this community to say that about another. So I can't see you over the podium, but you should have a big smile. You should have a big smile. That's, and I shouldn't, I don't say that lightly, but that is exactly what was said to me time and time again. So.
I think too, what just stood out to me is, again, I met with Lindsay individually, I met with Liv individually, and just really heard, again, to Sally's point, or to Shane's point, I wish we could have both of you on the board, because I think you really bring a lot, and bring different perspectives, even while you have similarities. But just I wandered around town to shops and asked for gossip. And I think what was helpful is just really, or what I was surprised, I probably shouldn't be surprised, Liv, because you've been involved in so many different things in town, was just the wide variety of people who knew who you were and had really great things to say about you. And I think that, to me, again, I think Lindsay would really be a great contribution. And if, Lindsay, you don't serve this term, I'd really encourage you to, again, run again. But that just stood out to me as the wide variety of people who had a connection to Liv and had not just, oh yeah, I've seen her around town, but could tell an aspect of your character. And I think that was something I really appreciated hearing from such a different group of people.
And it's great to hear all the subjective anecdotal
Mhm.
things. And if we have an official town coin, can we just pull that out?
Well, and again, there's going to be an election soon. So, whoever isn't chosen, I hope that you're still passionate about it in a year, and, or not even.
11 and a half months.
And
But who's counting?
throw your hat back in the ring. But yeah.
Well, I guess we've heard Jim and Dana advocate slightly more for Liv than for Lindsay, but obviously supporting both. Would anyone like to continue advocating either for Lindsay or for Liv? Or are the rest of us kind of happy with either?
But yeah, again, I will say, just again, anecdotally, the quantity of telephone calls and emails I got was for Lindsay, but I definitely also, had people call and tell me how great Liv is. So it's for me, it was really sort of a toss-up coming in, and I don't know either of them well enough in person to mount some sort of defense or offense for one or the other. So I think that we're going to be very lucky to have either of them.
I'm with Tyler on that. Exactly. I could advocate for either. But I'm happy to be a part of a unified board decision.
I know Lindsay slightly better than Liv. I know Liv decently well. I know Liv more through her community engagement, which I think is really important too. I know that Lindsay would be an amazing addition to the board. But hearing about the wide variety of support that's been expressed for Liv, I think is pretty persuasive.
How do we do this?
So someone would make a motion to support one of the candidates.
I was the only one thinking that. Everyone is so silent.
And then
Rock, paper, scissors.
if that motion seconded, we would vote. If that person receives a majority vote, they'd become the appointed person. If they don't, then we'd go back to discussion and another motion.
Before any motion is out on the table, I do want to thank Gary Davis, who's here in person tonight. I do want to thank Liv Edwards. Lindsay, you're out there. I see you. David Singer. I want to thank the 4 candidates who went out on a limb, put themselves out there. This is not an easy job. This is a task that at times has and I think I can say this for everyone, has beat us up mentally, physically. I had to take a nap today. See that? At least I got someone to smile. But in all sincerity, this job is one of love and passion for our community. This is about giving back. This is about not being a public official, but a public servant. We are servants to our neighbors, to our friends, to our community, to our town. And this is something the past 3 years for me. I love this, and I will cherish this the rest of my life, being able to serve and be a part of not only this community, but a part of this board. This really has become family for me. And I want to thank the 4 of you for putting yourselves out there, but most of all, wanting to become a part of this family. And we don't always have to agree. We have our own opinions. We come from all different walks of life. But the one commonality we all share, and that the 4 of you share, is the ultimate love for this town, the ultimate love for this community, and really the love for all of our friends and neighbors, because that's why we're here. It's certainly not for the money. It's certainly not for the vacations that we get. We do it for one another. We do it for this town. So each and every one of you that put yourselves out there, thank you. Thank you.
Well said.
Now, if anyone wants to make a motion, that's it. Thank you.
Good pontificating, Jim.
Well, it's the truth.
It's true.
I don't say a lot on this board. I don't think I do. I usually wait till the last moment to say something. And a lot of that is just because I like to think about what I want to say, and I love to get everyone's opinions. If we could grow this audience and receive more opinions and receive more emails and receive more telephone calls, receive more text messages, I'm all for it. Because that is the only way that we know what everyone's thinking. That is the only way that we know the passions of each individual in this town. And that's the only way we can make the right decisions for each and every one of you, including ourselves. So yeah, pontificating, sure. Speaking from the heart, absolutely. So let's get this going.
All right, well, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'll make a motion to appoint Olivia Edwards to the Board of Trustees.
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Trustee Kränker,
Yes.
trustee Harper,
Yes.
trustee Birma,
Yes.
trustee George,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Barney,
Yes.
Mayor Furman.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you.
And welcome.
Get up. Well, welcome to the board.
Oh. Thanks. I'm delighted to hear that people across the community in multiple parts of the community like me so much and feel heard and like I would be non-biased and open to listening to people. So thank you so much for this opportunity and thank you to this community, and I will do my very best.
Thank
I
you.
wanted to add to what Jim said and just, Liv, thank you for being willing to join us and just to speak out there to the rest of the folks that participated. Because again, I think we couldn't have gone wrong. And we had a lot of really great interest. So thank you.
And Gary Davis in the audience tonight, thank you.
Could I say something to you?
Absolutely.
Well done.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Well, we do not have any other further business this evening. So we'll see everybody at our next regular meeting a week from tonight, 7 p.m. And this meeting's adjourned. It is 7:32 p.m. Thank you all very much.
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Outstanding. Thank you.
See you soon.
Sally.